This new legislation comes weeks after the Department of Juvenile Services shifted its policies. Now, if a juvenile has a first violent offense, they'll be placed on GPS monitoring. If it's their second, they'll be detained. But what does DJS consider a violent crime remains unclear. We have team coverage today. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor is looking into that Pikesville shooting and what we're learning about the young victim and possible suspects.
We're going to begin, though, with Mackenzie Frost joining us live from the newsroom. Mackenzie, you're digging into the data points DJS Secretary Schiraldi says are indicators of a successful ankle monitor program, right?
Yeah, Mary, that's right. And we know that from my interview, DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi often touts the fact that ankle monitors across the state are nearly 95% successful. He argues that that shows that the efforts are on the right track. However, as we continue to dig into the data, we find more examples of young people already wearing an ankle monitor who go on to commit more crimes. And some law enforcement experts that we have been talking with disagree with the secretary. Now that we know there's a difference between electronic monitoring and GPS monitors at the Department of Juvenile Services, we're getting a more complete picture of this system. Last week, DJS told us there were 105 juveniles on electronic monitoring statewide and 118 kids on GPS monitoring.
We need to have a clear policy that say ankle monitors will be GPS monitors so we can track you at real time.
Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates says cell phones are able to track your location, and so should DJS.
We need to stop with the excuses. We need to get the system fixed, and we need to do it now.
Before we knew DJS had two different types of ankle monitors, I questioned Secretary Vincent Schiraldi about their effectiveness.
94.6% of the time when on electronic monitoring, so 19 out of 20 times, they don't get rearrested.
There has to be a systematic efficiency, meaning every part of the system has to work.
While on Fox 45 News In Depth, Baltimore area defense attorney Jeremy Eldridge argues the system cannot function properly when there appears to be breakdowns along the way.
Frankly, even with a 94% efficiency, if 6% isn't working, the system's broken.
From your experience, can you say right now that all of the pieces to this puzzle are in place and everything is working effectively?
I don't need to be the authority because we have too many stories in the news currently that show that the system isn't working. And the 94% rate is probably a false number because you have to wonder when we're talking about 94%, how does DJS classify the breakdown?
We sent questions to police in Baltimore City, Howard, Baltimore, and Carroll counties, asking if they agree with the secretary that ankle monitors are successful nearly 95% of the time, meaning kids wearing one don't reoffend. Howard County telling Fox 45 News they, quote, don't have independent data on ankle monitors. Baltimore City and Baltimore County not getting back to us. Carroll County Sheriff Jim DeWeese previously making his stance clear about the secretary.
To me, it's disingenuous. I'd like to see the data from the last 2 weeks or the pressure that you guys have put on him over the last several weeks when it comes to incarcerating violent offenders, because I think that's a recent phenomenon. I don't think that's anything that he believes in.
In a statement to Fox 45 News, Sheriff DeWeese says the ankle monitors work as long as the folks in the community on those monitors are properly supervised, adding he believes Secretary Schiraldi could care less if these folks violate that system. They get more bites at the apple than anybody I've ever seen. Monday, we asked DJS how many people are monitoring these juveniles. We also asked, do those employees monitor juveniles 24/7? If not, please provide the schedule breakdown. And how quickly do the monitors alert someone about violations? Meanwhile, Bates says the department could make the switch to all GPS monitors with a simple policy change, something we just saw the department do earlier this month, now requiring more electronic monitors for kids accused of committing a violent felony.
Should that policy change that they announced earlier this month, should that have come earlier?
I'm glad it came when it did.
With more juveniles expected to be placed on these ankle monitors, DJS maintains they have the equipment to handle an influx. But the question remains, will there be enough people to monitor those juveniles on monitors? Now, as for the questions that we sent to DJS earlier today, a spokesperson acknowledged my email this morning, but so far, we're still waiting on some answers. Live in the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.